Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Mindful Homestead. My name is Jack. We are freshly on the other side of the polar vortex that swept across most of the Northeast a few days ago. We saw temps here down to negative 27 was our recorded temp. And just as quick as it was negative 27, it feels like we swung the other way, and today is actually 45 degrees here. Everyone's excited. The ducks and chickens are out milling about. Last couple days, they've just been cooped up in the coop, literally. We're getting down to crunch time here as Jackie is due with our new daughter in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, actually, which is crazy to me. And as such, we are going through and we're kind of preparing the homestead for somebody else to take over. We have a farm sitter, I guess you'd call it, a friend of ours who lives up the street. Jackie's mom is gonna come and stay at the house with Emma so she can take care of the dogs and Emma, but we need someone to take care of the farm because Jackie's mom's not really up for that. He's gonna come out, he's gonna take care of really just the chickens and ducks. He does have chickens himself, so the feeding and watering is pretty easy for him. But something that I wanna fix before he gets here is this rickety old door here on the coop. As you can see with the freeze thaw we've got going on, the water that's inside is actually leaking water when the ducks get into it and they splash around. It's leaking water into a place where it's kind of causing the door to bind. I can't open this. When I built it, I didn't really build it to the best specifications. It was kind of, it was just like, oh, I'll eyeball it and we'll measure it and we'll make a door that fits inside the opening that I made. And I didn't really leave a lot of room for freezing or water or shifting of the structure or anything like that. So now this door, as you can see, it without lifting up on it and shifting it around, it doesn't move too well. So we're gonna change that. We're gonna take everything off and we're gonna put a new door on here. I already went to the Big Blue Wood store this morning with Emma and got what I needed for this. So I'm gonna kind of jump right into it. I'm gonna pull this door off and then I'm gonna take it around front and we're gonna get started on building a new door for this thing. I'm surprised that door came off in one piece. So I already took my measurements on this space. As it sits, it's about 6 feet by 3 feet, a little bit shorter than 6 feet, and just about 3 feet wide. What I want to build is a barn door that is going to sit on the outside and not tuck into the frame. What I built there was I designed it so that it would tuck into the frame and it would look all nice and flush, but the door is going to be a solid panel that sits on the outside of everything, and I'll have to build some standoffs here. We got all the hardware pulled. That stuff is not expensive, but it's not really cheap either. So if you can pull it off an old door and save it, makes sense. For the door I'm building, I'm going with something just a little bit over 36 by 72, which is 3 feet by 6 feet. You'll see the reason why in a little bit. You're gonna need 7 1x6s, 6 feet long. There's our 6 feet. You're gonna need 3 1x6s, 8 feet long, which are gonna be our top and bottom and middle supports, and then our cross supports. For tools and supplies, you'll need a circular saw, you'll need a drill, you'll need 1 1/4 inch decking screws coated for use in pressure treated, since we're using pressure treated lumber. I always buy more T20 bits when I go to the store. Tape measure, speed square if you got it, and some sort of marking device. So here's the reason why I say our door is going to be a little bit over 36 wide. The 1x6s that I'm using actually measure 5.5 wide. Because of that, I wouldn't be able to get a perfect 36 inches without ripping a cut down the side of one, making a long cut. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just build to the dimensions of the lumber that I have. That way I don't have to make any cuts here. And if you do the math using 7 of these 1x6s, it gives you 38.5 inches across. Now with spacing issues, I want to try and get everything as tight as possible, so I'm actually going to be using a ratchet strap to tighten everything together so that I can get rid of any openings in the middle here. I might not get all of them, so that the door may end up being a little bit of just a hair over 38.5 inches, but we'll see how it goes. The first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to take one of those 8-foot boards, I'm going to cut it in half and get a 4-foot and a 4-foot piece, and those are going to be my top and bottom supports, and we'll get those done first. And that I'll do right here over on the tailgate of my truck. I've got my 4-foot sections of 1x6, and these are gonna serve as the top and bottom of the doors. I'm gonna go incrementally, where I'll put one at the top, put one at the bottom, screw a couple boards to them, and then I'm gonna use my ratchet strap to tighten everything up. I don't have a clamp that's big enough that'll work to tighten up the gaps in the middle, so I'm gonna try using a ratchet strap and we'll see how that goes. If it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. I mean, there was a mesh door on the chicken coop before this. So these are also cut, if you remember my measurements, 38.5 inches is gonna be the width of the door. These are now 48 inches. That's just a little bit extra that will cut off at the end with a circular saw. All right, so I got the bottom support on. Now I'm gonna work on this one, and I'm gonna try this ratchet strap technique and see if I can kind of pull all these boards together. Now that I got this side all put down with 2 screws per board, I'm gonna go back to the other side where I'd only put 1 in. I'm gonna put the 2nd screw in each of those. Before I take this strap off, I'm gonna flip the table over so that I can put screws in from the back, because this could be under a lot of tension right now. And I don't want, if I take the strap off, for those screws to pop, because they're only long enough to go through half of the bottom board. I didn't want screws sticking out, so I got short screws. So I'm gonna flip this. I'm gonna have Jackie help me. She's not gonna be on camera though, because she's in pajama pants, hanging out comfortable later in the day. So, so you won't see her side. There we go. Cool. Thank you. Moment of truth, let's flip this over and see how she did. So now the trick is going to be get the ratchet strap around the middle so I can place our center brace there. And that shouldn't be too bad. Quick little measurement time, just so anybody trying to do this at home can kind of keep up. From top to bottom, and we've got a little bit of overhang because the 6-footers are actually a little bit more than 6 foot when you get them. From top of the top support to bottom of the bottom support is 72 inches. Subtract 5.5 inches, which is the width of the 1x6, from 72 inches divided by 2, you get 33.25. So you're gonna mark 33.25 from the top, 33.25 from the bottom, and that is gonna give you the center placement for your center support. I've got all 3 horizontal supports on now, at least screwed from the front. The ends are screwed from the front and the back. The middle one's screwed from the front only. I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna come through with my circular saw. I'm gonna cut off my extra on the horizontal supports. I'm gonna screw through the horizontal middle support from the back, and then we're gonna flip it back over and we're gonna put our diagonal braces in. So I'm gonna brace this door because it's a heavy door. And I'm gonna use a compression brace, which is, actually I should have changed that. That's the opposite of what's there. So a compression brace, if the hinges are gonna be on the left-hand side of this door, a compression brace runs at the corner opposite high the hinges and then runs back down to the side where the hinges are. And what that does is it places the compression of the door, which would be up here and wanting to kind of fall down this way, it braces it back up against where the hinges are. Now, I don't know, I'm pretty sure the door here is going to be stronger than the 2x4 frame I built the chicken run out of. But because we want to possibly use this door in the future for something else, a chicken coop down there, or perhaps a barn, I'm going to build it as strong as I need to. So if it makes it a little bit heavier, that's fine because it's going to be braced. So the biggest thing you want to remember here is 2 screws per vertical slat. And you want to go from the corner opposite and high the bottom of the door back to the hinges. The way I'm going to do this is kind of jack style, where I'm not actually going to measure it with a tape measure. I'm going to just lay out the boards I'm using, and I'll mark it with a pen and then just cut it. So your mileage may vary on this. Braces are one of those things that require a little bit of skill. I obviously don't have it if you get up close on my braces. The angles are not cut perfectly, but they're cut good enough for a barn door. I don't think they'll be going anywhere anytime soon. I'm gonna put 2 screws through each vertical slat on the front, and then I'll flip it over, and I'll put 1 screw through each vertical slat on the back, and that should hold everything just fine. The bracing is on. I've got to take the circular saw now. This is the last step really, besides hanging it. I'm going to take my circular saw and I'm going to trim off the top and the bottom of those 6-foot boards that are actually longer than 6 feet, so that the final height of the door turns out to be exactly 72 inches. Moment of truth. Let's stand her up and see how she looks. Oh, she's not light. Well, in traditional jack fashion, I may have overbuilt this. This thing is easily 85, 90 pounds. It's going to be interesting to see how it hangs. And if it hangs, and if it even hangs on, if it doesn't cave the chicken coop over. I don't think it's going to cave the chicken coop over. Anytime I look over and I see the ducks like that, I feel like they're scheming. Here's my solution. What I did was I took a 6-foot piece of 2x4 I had kicking around the garage. I took what I would consider some big old screws, and I hacked it onto there with a whole bunch of them. It is not going anywhere. I mean, the whole coop would have to fall over. I just scared that Buff Orpington. Sorry. And now all I need to do is come out, attach the door with probably with some more of those big old screws, and yeah, I think that'll do it for this. I gotta try and get that door out here though without Jackie, because Jackie took Emma to dance. I'm all alone right now, so hopefully I don't hurt something. Finished product. It's definitely heavier. It's definitely nicer than the rest of the coop, but the coop is this is all getting torn down come spring anyway, and the chickens are getting moved down the field as soon as we get a field fence up down there. I fully intend to reuse this door on whatever structures we put down there, whether it be a mobile chicken coop or some sort of barn, something. This is one of those builds where you build it once and you reuse it again and again and again. Where the red bungee cord goes across that we're using just to hold it closed, I could actually cut it there eventually and have 2 sections, a 3-foot top and a 3-foot bottom, which could be nice for a variety of reasons. So I'm happy with the way this turned out. I did have to do a bunch of chunking at the bottom here with the rock bar to get a bunch of ice out. I think that's just something, it's a New England thing. It's something you just have to deal with, is having ice jamming up doors if you've got those doors not lifted up off the ground. I think if we keep on top of that though and shovel it out after snowstorms, we should be all right. If you want to see more of what we're doing out here, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Otherwise, as always, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.